Whatever, we have spoken about on Jesse, gender equality and social inclusion is very close to our heart. So thank you so much for inviting me for this. Quick introduction about Enable India, that our work aligns with the UN SDG, and, our impact has been across India, and we've also done knowledge transfer across, the world in different countries, especially with something called Discovery Awards, which is now in 25 countries. We actually work on livelihoods across 19 disability types, which is very important. And I think for today's discussion, the work that we've done with more than 800 companies makes a lot of, I think that'll help. That's the base from which I'm going to speak. Has been the vision of Enable India? It's been about economic independence and dignity for persons with disability. And I think the best example, best thing to do is to take an example like Deepa here, who actually is a person who cannot move any part of her body. So I think when we say dignity, the fact is, will Deepa be able to work with dignity and get paid equally, compared, like everybody else? And I think the answers we got was from, a transformation framework, which has been driven on insights. We've gone deeply into insights, and from that we've innovated. So let me kind of start, and, I'll run through all of these points. When people see somebody like Deepa, they think of somebody that has lesser value because, oh, she can't move any part of her body. But I think the question we tried to answer was, why should somebody hire a person like Deepa? And therein lies the answer. If we can show value, and we see Deepa as somebody with value, she's amazing. But, it takes time for people to understand that. And how do you, make it faster? And one of the insights is we all work on incentives. We all, do anything. If you ate something in the morning today, you ate it because there was an incentive to eat. You were hungry or you liked that food. So similarly, we came up with a business case which looked from the lens of value, that hire Deepa for the talent she offers, which we all know. But I think what people don't realize is, in the process of making Deepa work, right? You have to find solutions, and we don't realize human beings have always found solutions. But suddenly when we say disability, we think it's not possible. And when Deepa works like everybody else, the bar gets raised. Oh my God, here's somebody who's working like me, and I supposedly have all my senses intact, etc. And obviously, the company starts learning, the leaders know how to start including people like her and many more. And now the kind of products and other things that they make become more competitive because you're thinking of a market like Deepa. So these are the kind of things we added. I'm not going into details of this, but we have a lovely, YouTube video we can share, which has the details. The biggest thing we saw was that people don't know how to look past the difference, because, and I think this happens to a lot of people with disabilities, and in fact, other types of differences. And over a period of time, Enable India has actually created a competency framework, and we have called it includability. It's a quotient which enables us to see beyond the differences. So when you're seeing Deepa, or, you're seeing a profoundly disabled woman who, who can't, looks like as if she can't do much. And then it actually creates a problem. It's a dominant story. You're not able to look past that. And for that, what we have done is we've actually tried to normalize this by making people see the other sides of that person. And we have a framework for this. But Deepa is actually very creative. She's friendly. She's a party goer. She loves to go out and enjoy herself. And suddenly, perhaps when somebody is talking to Deepa and knows she loves parties, suddenly you forget about the profoundly disabled part. And, you're like, oh, you love to party? Oh, even me, and things of that nature. The multiple stories makes us more comfortable. This is a huge insight we have. And from that, the innovations. And based on that, our modules, awareness modules, and things of that nature. So we have a competency framework, and frameworks are useful, especially I would like to say any funder who's here. When we use frameworks, we can help and co-create with everybody. Now, let me take another, another thing, right? People will still wonder, how can she do the job? So we worked a lot with Deepa to see how she could do the job effectively with efficiency so that she can do performance. And let me actually share her video. I think that would help to actually explain that. Hold on a second. I don't know. Is it? Yes, I can play the video. I hope you can hear it.
My name is Deepa. I work as a diversity lead for Asia Pacific Japan at a large MNC IT company. I cannot move any part of my body except one finger. At EnAble India, I gained the ability to solve my own problems. Hence, I found various workplace solutions to work productively. I type efficiently with a virtual keyboard and with a speech recognition software. I use Bluetooth to answer all my calls. I move around in a wheelchair operated with a joystick. My work in the D&I space has resulted in inclusion of severe and profound disabilities in my company. I have progressed in my career thanks to includable leaders who pushed the boundaries, gave feedback and opportunities. I have traveled around the world and loved it.
Persons with disability in rewarding careers.
Yeah. So let me also tell you, it was not easy with Deepa because actually there was a friction for inclusion. And this is what happens with companies. When we work with companies, there is always a friction to include. And it comes from, from the fact that, there's a supply demand mismatch, especially in the case of Deepa. She had only done her 10th grade and people expect that, you are a degree holder. And there are systemic gaps, within the company where you have to ensure inclusion. So when if you don't have process innovations, you won't be able to help somebody like Deepa. So we looked at how we can create a level playing field at every step, and that is what we do. The level playing field is created by showing that how general hiring happens and how disability hiring, the pool, has not from early intervention to education, not many have come through that pipeline. So you will have less resumes and you need to have a selection criteria and not a rejection criteria. And this helps to build the includability of the companies. We also enable them to understand that at every stage in the system, there needs to be a way. Like, for example, in the initial time when she had to join, we just made sure we did a task. What's the task she has to do? What's the barrier? And hence, what is the solution, right? So with that, she was matched perfectly to the job. And at every stage, right? For example, feedback. If the system for feedback or the system for performance appraisal is not enabled for working with her, then again, things will go for a toss or people may not give her feedback and she won't do well. Now, let me talk about a very important thing was about her competency when it had to get built. See, there's an invisible social sanction that actually happens, when people are dealing with a person with disability. There's a lower expectation. Oh my God, no, don't, make her do this. She's so severely disabled, etc. So when that happens, the person is not even going to aspire, not going to do more than they can do, or may not take enough responsibilities. For this, we actually have a competency framework, which actually has 4 pillars. And I think when you see those workplace solutions that Deepa did, it was because she was enabled to solve the problem. We did not give her the solution. We kept expecting from her, Deepa, when you go to the company, how are you going to solve this problem on your own? If you don't, you're going to be in a problem. And today, if you learn to solve the problems before you enter the company, then the good news is that when you join the company, you will be able to solve problems there also. And that's what helped her to find the solutions. Let me take a different example than Deepa, because I want to talk about something else in this competency framework. One of the things we do is make the person see beyond themselves. What are you going to do for your family? What are you going to do for society? This helped us, especially when we talk of different types of candidates. I'll name one. Her name is Hasina. And she was an acid survivor. 36, acid was thrown. She became blind. She had 36 surgeries to modify her skin, her nose, her hair, everything. So when she came to us for training, she did not want to show her face. She did not want to take part in every activity. But as part of this vision building, we tell people that what are you going to do for society? You have to volunteer for society. And that's when her transformation journey began. Let me show you a video. And I know I'll have to after that make sure that. Yeah.
I am Hasina. I am an acid attack survivor. I have undergone more than 30 surgeries. I went to EnAble India to get a new life. I learned to travel on my own. During training, I went to community service. I helped collect clothes from flood survivors. I now work at Department of Defense. I am independent in my daily activities. Today, I help other acid attack survivors. Persons with disability in rewarding careers. The valuable 500 join the.
So I think, especially when you see the powerful video of Hasina, you see what can happen when you're told that you have to volunteer for society. I must tell you a funny thing. When she joined the Department of Defense, I asked her, what job do you do? And she said, I'm sorry, we are not supposed to divulge the role we do. So I was like, oh my God, I felt so, proud of her. So just to let you know that all the work that we've done on gender inclusion and social inclusion has been that the person with disability is equal to everybody else because of these solutions, because of these innovations. And hence you see people who are deaf-blind, the highest salary, I'm not talking every salary, earning 4 times more than the annual median per capita, an intellectual disabled person 3 times, 13x for a CP person, autism 14x, and 43 times, for a person who is, having physical disability, blindness, or hearing impairment. The most important thing is the companies that we worked with, 51% of them have hired severe sensory and multiple disabilities. And that is a testament to the business case and that lens that we put, especially the lens of includability, where the leader realizes that with their competency development, they will be able to do better people management for everybody. So there's an incentive for the leader. We've worked across, so whatever I'm saying has worked across these sectors, different types of job roles, senior leaders, or different types of companies. It could be rural, multinational, Indian company, startup, government, PSU, everything, and also, intersectionalities. Somebody who is a trans PWD, a person who's lesbian or gay. It's worked, and multiply disabled, low vision plus hard of hearing plus intellectual disability. This gentleman whom you see here in the picture is somebody like that. So I think, as Sandra mentioned, this is a narrative shift. We have seen that a person with disability being a productive employee, taxpayer, volunteer, etc. And just to let you know, therefore, how are we organized? This has happened only because we have more than 45% of our staff are persons with disability, with diversity. 45% are women. And the thing that I feel happiest about is that our organization is run by executive directors today who are persons with disability. And that is very important for us. And we're also organized in collectives and partnerships. We believe now the new institution has to be these change-making networks. So we have different partnerships like with CIA, NASCOM, Valuable 500. And I'd like to talk to you about one, which is the DNA Mission 1000. DNA stands for Disability NGO Alliance, which we formed in Karnataka, the state that I am in. And what we did there was we collectivized NGOs and made companies also join this collective. So this Mission 1000 was for people with intellectual disability, autism, etc. And it was owned by companies who were given a target that they have to provide 1,000 opportunities within 1,000 days. And before Mission 1000, we may have had 100 opportunities. But after Mission 1000, because of that economies of scale and pooling in of resources, pooling in of supply, of demand, of solutions, of training, we could actually, candidates could choose from more than 2,300 opportunities and started job roles opened up in more than 11 sectors. And that is what I spoke about at the World Economic Forum, calling it the Opportunity Pathways Model. We also have different partnerships like the one, I think, in Germany with Dr. Franz Hoffmann, is how we are empowering women, blind women, to empower other women by being a para-health worker. Just imagine a woman who's blind being your medical tactile examiner and examining you for breast cancer. I think it's an amazing thing which creates a momentum. And the lady who's getting examined realizes she is important too. I think I get really goosebumps talking about this. So I think I'll just like to end with the fact that if you're a donor, there's some things that I'd like to, share my thoughts or views. One is, I think as a donor, I think we need to promote alliances. The NGOs who are going to work should work together so that there's economies of scale. We need to have multi-year missions and also provide risk capital for trying these experiments. Perhaps otherwise nobody would have funded our, medical tactile examiner thing with breast cancer, right? And I think the donor can provide a shared service. I see the need from NGOs because we provide the service, helping in documentation, helping in doing fundraising, helping with accounting, so many other factors. We actually support a lot of entrepreneurs this way. I think also very important, rather than standardization, let's enable co-creation. So the frameworks we have, for example, can work in different contexts when we co-create it with that organization. So we need to encourage that. And I think NGOs need to learn to build more tangibles, have products, tools, etc. And I think we need to work from a systems lens. So I'd just like to end with the fact that the social inclusion impact has been best described with this hand pump that you see here. There's a young gentleman who's from a small village in Uttar Pradesh, the most populous state in India, which would be the eighth largest country, in the world. And we asked him, "Hey, what do you do with the money that you have?" And he says, "I built this hand pump for my mom, who had to travel many kilometers away to get water. And this hand pump with my money is helping her." And today we see 56% of persons with disability are primary bread earners, primary, and 81% are supporting their family in rural, and 70% are supporting in the in the urban area, and 70% in rural areas. With that, I'd like to end, and I hope this has been of use to everybody.